everyone, it's Andrea from Movers and Bakers. Today I'm going to share with you my lemon cupcakes. These are beautiful, zesty lemon cupcakes filled with a tangy lemon curd, topped with a sweet lemon buttercream and even more curd. Absolutely decadent, completely beautiful. You're going to love them. Let's get baking. Right, before I start making my cupcakes, I've put my oven on to preheat. It's heating at 180 Celsius, that's 350 Fahrenheit. The next thing for me to do, of course, is to prepare my pan. So I have a 12-hole pan here, and I'm going to use some lovely lemon yellow cases, just because I'm making lemon cupcakes. Okay, my cupcake cases are all set to go. Time to make some cake. So I've got a large bowl. Today I'm using my trusty KitchenAid just because I find it a lot easier. So in my mixing bowl, I'm going to pop my sugar. This is 175 grams of caster sugar. And in here, what I'm going to do next is zest some lemons. So I've got fresh lemons that I've given them a wash just because I always like to, and I'm going to zest them directly into my sugar. Now I always find that zesting my lemon and then giving my sugar a mix with the lemon zest in means that the flavors go really well. All the oils get absorbed by the sugar as well, so you get extra lemon flavor in your cupcakes. That's why I like to do it this way. Now, before I add my butter into this, I'm just going to give this, scrape down the sides and get all the oils that have spattered up the sides of the bowl in as well. Now, this seems like a really inconsequential thing to do, but all the lovely flavors of your lemon, you want them to be infused with your sugar, and that's going to make your lemon cupcakes extra zingy and lemony. So as you can see here, I'm just mixing it through and squishing it through to make sure all those lovely oils get really well combined with the sugar before I add my butter in. There, and once you have combined your lemon zest and sugar, it's time to add in our butter. So I have here 175 grams of butter. This is butter at room temperature, and I've just cubed it just to make it easier to combine with my sugar. And time to mix together. Now you can absolutely do this by hand if you want to, or with a handheld mixer. It does take a little while, so that's why I prefer to use a machine like my KitchenAid. So we're just going to put this on to mix, and we're going to mix it a few minutes until it's gone really lovely and light and fluffy. Right, so my butter and sugar is really lovely and fluffy, and it's gone a paler yellow color, as you can see. That's what we're looking for. So to this, I'm now going to start adding in my eggs. So I have 3 eggs. I'm going to add them in one at a time and mix in between each addition. And you want to make sure each time you add an egg that it's really well mixed in. Otherwise, as you can see from here, you end up with a mixture that looks a little bit like curdled eggs. It will all come together fine in the end, but I just prefer to mix it really well so I get a really even mix of all my ingredients together. Time for my last egg. Don't forget, if you are enjoying these videos, to like them. And you know I always like to hear from you, so let me know if you make this, how it turns out for you. And that is my eggs completely mixed in. Now you can see that my mixture still looks like it's half curdled. Don't worry about that, that will all come fine once we add our flour into it. So I'm going to add in to my bowl 175 grams of self-raising flour. Now I am not using any leavening agent. I'm not using baking powder or baking soda in this at all. All my leavening is coming from beating up my butter and sugar and eggs there, and the self-raising flour, so the leavening agent is already in the flour. So this is just 175 grams of self-raising flour. I like sifting my ingredients in just because, especially now that I've put lots of air into my mixture already, I don't want to ruin that by dumping all my stuff in, all my flour in. So I'm doing it so that it lands quite softly, and then I'm going to give it one last mix. Now this, a lot like icing sugar, could be messy, so be warned. Like that. So I'm just mixing this until it is just combined. That is all I am looking for. And my cake mixture is done. Now, if you find your cake mixture is a little bit too thick for your liking, by all means squeeze in a little bit of lemon juice, but I am really happy with the consistency of my cake mixture, so I'm not going to do that. Right, so the last bits of flour that have gone up, I'm just going to incorporate all of that into my dough and bring it all together. So you can see my cake mixture is actually not very runny at all. It's actually a fairly thick mixture, but that's exactly what I want. So this will make 12 cupcakes. So I'm bringing back my cupcake tin from earlier. So to help me make sure I get a really even amount of mixture in each of my cupcake cases, I'm going to use an ice cream scoop. You can absolutely use 2 spoons if that's what you have, if you don't have an ice cream scoop, but I just find this a really easy way to do it. So these are just going to go a scoop into each of my cupcake cases that I've prepared, and then this is going to go in the oven to bake. And they will take about 15 to 20 minutes to bake, and I will see you on the other side with ready cupcakes, ready to decorate. Right, I'm back. So my cupcakes are out of the oven. They are cooked. My whole home smells beautifully lemony. I love it. So time to make some icing. So this is based on a really basic icing. When you make buttercream frosting or icing, depending whether you're in the States or here, it's half the amount of butter to icing sugar at its base level, and then you add your flavorings and milk to get the right consistency. So here I have 150 grams of unsalted butter. It has to be at room temperature because we want it to blend really well. My butter is in my bowl, and just before I add my icing sugar to it, I am just going to give it a very quick mix just to soften it up. And to that, I'm going to add my icing sugar. So this is 300 grams of icing sugar. As always, I will put all the quantities in cups and in grams in the link below this video. So do check it out if you're looking to make this yourself. Now, I find it easier to add icing sugar in a couple of batches. So I'm just going to start with half of it first and mix that in, and then put the other half in. And now the rest of my icing sugar. Okay, so once I have combined my sugar and my butter, I'm going to add in, normally I would add in vanilla and milks, but because I'm doing it as a lemon cupcake, of course I'm going to add some lemon. So the lemons that I zested earlier, I'm just going to use those. I find that fresh lemons give a much better flavour of juice, so I am going to just use a juicer and the fresh lemons for my icing. So that was about 3.5 to 4 tablespoons worth, or 1 full lemon's worth of lemon juice. Now it's time to fluff it up, so I'm just going to make sure I get all my icing sugar off the sides of my bowl, right in, so everything gets combined, and then I'm just going to whiz up my icing for a couple of minutes just to make it really lovely and fluffy. Right, that is my icing all done. So I'm going to set that aside for a couple of minutes. Okay, onto my cupcakes. So in order to fill the cupcakes, you need to cut a little bit of the cake out. I'm going to use an apple corer. If you haven't got an apple corer, you can absolutely just put a knife in and scoop out the middle of your cupcake, and that is fine. But I find the apple corer is brilliant because you can just pop it in, put it on a flat surface, pop it in and give it a wriggle, and the whole bit of your cake that you're getting out will just all come out in the apple corer, and you're left with a perfect little hole in the middle of your cupcake to fill with lemon curd. So that's my scrap that will be munched on later. So that is my cupcake hole. Now to fill that, I'm going to use lemon curd. You can use shop bought lemon curd, but if you want to make your own, as I have here, do check out my lemon curd recipe. It is so easy, you can put it together yourself with a few basic ingredients. So this is my own homemade lemon curd that I'm just going to use a little bit of to pop in the hole of my cupcake that I've just made. Now I actually tap it on the table just to help it go down a bit, because you can see I can put more curd in, and the more in the better, I say. I want more of this lovely, beautiful, sunny lemon flavour. Absolutely gorgeous. So I just gently tap it on my table just to help it go in and settle in all the nooks and crannies. So that is my cupcake done. So before I put my icing into my piping bag, I actually like to give it a bit of a stir through with my spatula, just because, as you can see, as I'm stirring through, you can see the little pockets of air that have formed in there, and I just like to try and smooth those out so that my icing comes out really smooth when I pipe it without the air, little air pockets and air bubbles. So I just press it in and press it around the bowl just for 30 seconds or so, just to try and get rid of some of those bubbles. So into my piping bag, I've got it fitted with a closed star nozzle. This is a Wilton 1M, if you want to know specifically what it is. I'm going to pop my icing straight in here. So squeeze it down to the bottom, twist your bag at the top so you don't have any rogue icing escaping out the top. And then onto the cupcake that we have filled. Now, there are lots of people doing it lots of different ways. This is just how I prefer to do it. I put my cupcake on the table and I prefer to pipe with my piping bag straight down. I start from the outside and I'll do a swirl. Take your time. All the way around the outside first. And you almost want to drop your icing down. And there you have it. There is how I do my swirl. And for my final little touch, I just have some more lemon curd here that I have just warmed up a little bit in the microwave, just so that it's a bit runnier, because my curd's been in the fridge, it's obviously a bit firmer, and I just want to use it to dribble a few extra little splodges, if I can get it on the cupcake, of lemon curd on the icing. And there you have it. There are my lemon curd cupcakes. Absolutely delicious, packed full of beautiful lemon flavour. You are going to love these. Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and do let me know if you make this and how it turns out for you. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Happy baking, friends.